Yo, what is up you guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Chad Osuji, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to make money like the 1% by starting an ATM business. That's what we're going to be talking about today, coming right up. Welcome to the Chad Osuji Show, where I show you business strategies, marketing techniques, and tactics to grow your own business. Now, there are huge differences between the middle class and the 1%, the wealthy people. See, the middle class works like this. You get a job and you get a salary for that job, or you get paid hourly. And a salary brings them a consistent flow of income every single month. So for example, if you make $60,000 per year, you make $5,000 each month. And it's always the same. It's always $5,000, $5,000, $5,000. However, you are capped at this income level, so you cannot get past that $5,000 a month. So you're always capped at that level, and you rarely go above that if you don't, invest yourself, or if you don't have a side job or a side hustle. But a business owner, the investor, the 1% do things a little differently. They have their money work for them. They set up a system, or they set up a process that makes them money over a long period of time. It's not that they go out there and they work, 1 hour and get paid $25 just for that 1 hour. They work 1 hour, and then over a long period of time, maybe that 1 hour brings in $100, maybe brings in $200, but it's consistently growing over time. So I'm going to go over to my computer and actually explain a little more about how this process works. So one of my favorite authors, Robert Kiyosaki, has a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in this book, he actually talks about the difference between the middle class and the difference between the 1%. And the difference is that the 1% understands these two financial statements right here, and the middle class don't understand these two financial statements. So the first financial statement on the top, this one is called the income statement, and it's comprised of two things. It's comprised of income and expenses. Now, the second income statement that he talks about is called the balance sheet, which is this one on the bottom right here. And pretty much what the balance sheet is comprised of assets and liabilities. So assets bring you money each month. Liabilities take money out of your pocket each month. So this is the path of a middle class person. See, a middle class person, they have a job that brings them income, but they don't have any assets. This is what they're lacking. So how it works is a middle class person has a job, so that brings them income, but then they have expenses such as, taxes always come first. And then they also have things like a mortgage payment and a car payment and things like that. And then they have liabilities, and these liabilities take things out of their pocket each and every month. So then at the end of the day, their expenses are either higher than their income, or they are about the same. And this is a problem with the middle class, because the middle class doesn't have a high enough income, and their expenses are always high as well. Now with the 1% understand these two financial statements. The 1% knows that you need more income than you do expenses. Now the 1% understand that if they have assets can generate them income over time, and this income can pay for their liabilities and pay for their expenses. So for example, assets include businesses. They include real estate. They include inventory, things that you can sell. So all of these assets right here can bring you income. So this is how the 1% works. The 1% has assets that bring them income. And then from there, this income then pays for their expenses and then their liabilities. And with these liabilities, they take on debt or things that are used to pay for their assets. So for example, they'll take out a business loan, or they'll take out a interest-free credit card, for example. And all of these things work together in order to build assets. And that's what the 1% understand, that assets mean everything. If you can build assets, if you can build up a portfolio, that can bring you income over time. And that is worth much more than a job that brings you a salary. So now you might be saying, Chad, how does this help me with an ATM business? Now, if you remember earlier, I said that assets bring you income. And what is an asset? An ATM is also an asset. So if you have an ATM in your assets, say you have this is your first one, second one, and third one, these all work together to bring you income. And then this income can also pay for your expenses and liabilities. So at the end of the day, your income is higher than your expenses. And with these liabilities, I just want to say that you can also use an interest-free credit card, or you can use a business loan or a personal loan to fund your assets, which are your ATMs. That way you can have all four of these working together in a cycle to bring you money at the end of the month. And I also just want to bring in another factor into this equation, which is time. Now, if you remember from some of my other videos, I said that, it only takes an hour to 2 hours a month to, fill up your ATM machine. And that brings you $500 of income each and every month. Now, if you think about it, if you have 3 ATM machines and you put in 6 hours into your assets to bring you income, to pay for your expenses and liabilities, I think that's much better than having a salary job. Remember, I said before, having a salary job that brings you a paycheck each and every month. Now, this you have to put in 40 hours a week. And with this, it's only 6 hours a month. And this can bring you $1,600. And sometimes it can even bring you more than your actual job. See, the 1% of America don't focus on an hourly wage. They actually focus on acquiring assets because these assets bring them income. So they focus on things like real estate, stocks, bonds, and any other asset, hard asset that can actually bring them money over time. See, the 1% sees it as, if I work 100 hours in the next week or so, I can get paid over a long period of time. See, if I work 100 hours in the middle class and I get $25 an hour, at the end of the 2 weeks, my paycheck is going to be $2,500. But the 1% see it a little differently. The 1% see it is, if I work 100 hours now, over the next year, the next 3 years, I can, gain $10,000 because of my efforts, even though I'm not going to get, $10,000 in the first month or the second month. Maybe I'll get $100 the first month, then $200 the second month, then $400 the next month, and then $800 the next month. So, it's always compounding and it's always growing exponentially. And the rewards are much greater if you plan these things correctly. And if you really think about it, an ATM is an actual asset. An ATM is just like real estate. It's just like a stock or a bond. It does bring you passive income over time. So in the beginning, we do a lot of work. We have to set up our LLC, our business bank account. We have to get contracts. We got to sign the contracts. We have to actually get clients. And then we have to put these ATMs in the locations. But once all of that's done, then you only put in an hour of work each month, 2 hours of work each month, and you get paid $500 plus per ATM machine. So what I'm saying is, you can take that asset, which brings you income over time, and then with that income, you can then pay your expenses. A good way to think about it, or at least the way that I think about it, is an ATM is like a little robot employee. You have this little robot going out and working for you, and they're bringing income and they're bringing cash flow into your business. But you don't have to pay them. They don't have to eat. They don't have to sleep. You don't even have to give them breaks. All you have to do is take that little robot employee, place it somewhere, and it's going to bring you money 24/7, 365 days a year. This thing makes you money every single day. So I know $500 per machine doesn't sound like a lot of money if you only have one machine, but imagine if you have 10 machines, 10 machines can bring you $5,000 each month, and you're only working 10 to 20 hours of that month. So you're making $60,000 a year, and you're only putting 10 to 20 hours a month. And when you compare this to the middle class works 40 hours a week on average, which means they work 160 hours per month, and they're only making $60,000 a year. If you guys are making $60,000 with your ATM machines and you're working 10 to 20 hours per week, you're putting in about a tenth of the effort as someone who's in the middle class, and you're actually making the same amount of money as them. Time is your most valuable asset, and if you can leverage that, and if you can turn that into something where you can apply that towards different ventures, or you can apply that to, gain more ATM machines to build your portfolio, that's where you can actually really get passive income, and that's where you guys can, thrive. So even if you guys are taking out interest-free credit cards or loans to fund your ATM business, that is okay. That is still something that the 1% actually do. So say, for example, the 1% wants to buy an apartment building, and this apartment building costs $1 million. They're not going to go out to their bank and take out $1 million and put it and to buy the apartment building. They're going to use other people's money. They're going to use the bank's money. They're going to leverage the bank's money in order to purchase that real estate property. So once they buy the real estate property and they get tenants in that property, the tenants are actually going to pay for that mortgage. So it's the same thing with the ATM business, guys. If you get an interest-free credit card, or if you get a loan to fund this business, you can take your profits from the ATM business and you can actually use that to pay off your loan, and then you can actually profit right away because you're not using any of your own money. Look, the middle class and the 1% actually view credit cards, debt, loans, they view that differently. The 1%, they love to use debt. They love to use credit cards because they don't actually have to use their own money. They're leveraging other people's money in order to make themselves money. And the middle class actually views credit cards, debt, and loans. They view that all as negative things because, they associate debt with bankruptcy. They don't understand that you can use other people's money to make more money, guys. They don't understand that. It's because their house, their car, their clothes, these things don't make these people money. So if we can actually use this debt, if we can get a loan that actually makes us money, then there's nothing wrong with that. So say, for example, the middle class, somebody gets a loan to get a car and they have to pay off that car $500 out of their bank account each month. They have to pay for that car with their income from their job. Now, say, for example, we get a loan for an ATM business and we purchase 4 ATM machines with that loan, and our loan is pretty much the same as that car payment. It's going to be around $500, and we can get 4 machines with that. So remember, I said before, each ATM machine can bring you about $500 in income each month. So that means if we have 4 ATM machines, that's $2,000, and then that we still have to pay back that loan at the end of the month. So after we make our $2,000, if we subtract $500 from our loan each month that we have to pay back, we're still profiting $1,500 every month, you guys. So the 1% does this, and that's how they accumulate income with other people's money. While on the other side of this, the middle class is getting rid of their income because they have to pay off this consumer debt. So I hope this video cleared up a lot of things for you guys. Maybe it even opened some doors for you guys. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. If you are interested in building an ATM business from scratch, I do have a free ebook down in the description below. You can go ahead and click on that. And also I have a free Facebook group, and we talk about the ATM business and all that. And I post my results, and we have questions. I answer questions on there. So if you guys are interested in that, links are down below. Thanks for staying till the end of the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.